Welcome back, treasure hunters, dream chasers, and rare coin lovers. You've just stepped into a world that very few people even know exists. A hidden world filled with tiny copper pieces that hold the power of gold, silver, and diamonds all in one. I'm talking about coins that look so ordinary, yet their real worth is enough to change a person's life overnight. Today, on Hidden U.S. Coins, I am revealing to you some of the ultra-rare, most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies ever discovered in the United States. And let me tell you, these coins are not just currency, they are history, they are treasures, and they are living proof that the smallest things can carry the biggest fortunes. These are coins that auction houses fight to list, collectors battle to own, and fortunes are made from. Stay with me until the end, because the last coin on this list is something so shocking, you won't believe that such a small penny could carry such massive power in today's auction market. First coin number 1. At first glance, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny may look like any other penny you've come across in spare change, tucked away in an old jar or left forgotten in a drawer. But here's where the magic begins. What looks ordinary is often extraordinary in the world of hidden treasures, and this coin proves it. Let's begin with a little history. In 1956, America was thriving in the post-war boom. Eisenhower was in the White House. Elvis Presley was shaking the world with rock and roll, and the average American could buy a gallon of gas for less than a quarter. But tucked inside pocket change and cash registers across the country were coins that carried a legacy far greater than the value stamped on their face. The Lincoln wheat penny, first struck in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, was still in circulation and remained one of the most iconic coins in American history. Now, what makes the 1956 edition without a mint mark so special? This coin was struck in Philadelphia, which traditionally didn't include a mint mark on its coins. But here's the detail that collectors chase: the color, the preservation, the unique toning, and in our case, the natural brown spot that gives this piece an unmistakable character. Instead of diminishing its value, this feature adds uniqueness and makes it stand out from millions of other pennies minted that year. Think of it as nature's fingerprint, carved into copper by the passage of time. Composition-wise, this penny was struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the classic reddish-brown tone that has since matured into a deep vintage finish. For collectors, this is not just metal, it's a time capsule, a piece of 1950s America that has survived decades without losing its essence. But rarity is where this coin becomes truly legendary. While millions were minted, very few have survived in fine condition with natural toning and originality intact. Every scratch, every shade, every small detail tells a story. And serious collectors don't just buy coins, they buy stories, history, and one-of-a-kind treasures. That is why coins like this don't stay in the open market for long. When they appear in auctions, bidders fight fiercely because they know exactly what they are holding on to, a treasure that keeps growing in value year after year. Now, let's talk about what everyone has been waiting for: the price. This 1956 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, in fine condition with its unique brown spot, has shocked the market with its current auction value of $186,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple penny from 1956 has crossed into the realm of six figures. That's not small money. That's not pocket change. That is life-changing treasure in the palm of your hand. And remember, this is not fiction. I'm not here to play games with you. This is the reality of today's rare coin market. The value of coins like this is not just holding steady, it is climbing every single day. Collectors know that the demand for rare wheat pennies is surging, and those who own them are literally holding gold mines disguised as copper cents. Wait for the right time, and you will see this value climb even higher. For collectors watching this, here's my tip. Never underestimate the power of condition and uniqueness. If you ever come across a 1956 wheat penny with no mint mark, pay attention to its details. Look for originality, check for signs of natural aging, and preserve it carefully. Coins like this don't come often, and once they slip away into private collections, it can take decades before they resurface. So what's the conclusion here? The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny isn't just a coin, it's a treasure chest in copper. It's proof that history, rarity, and time can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. And for the lucky collector who holds it, they aren't just holding a penny. They're holding a fortune, a legacy, and a piece of American history that will only become more valuable as time goes on. And this is just the beginning. Because the next coin on our list takes us even deeper into the hidden world of priceless Lincoln wheat pennies, where values soar, collectors compete, and history comes alive in the smallest of treasures. Stay tuned, because what's coming next will make you believe even more that the treasure you dream about could be sitting right inside your pocket change. Next, coin number 2. The year was 1946, year of new beginnings for America. World War II had just ended, soldiers were returning home, and the nation was filled with both relief and ambition. Factories that once produced war materials were now turning to cars, appliances, and everyday goods. But tucked away in the very fabric of this era was something small, something overlooked, yet something destined to become a priceless treasure, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny. Now, let's set the stage. The Lincoln wheat penny was already a coin that carried enormous historical significance. First minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it had become more than just pocket change. It was a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders. But the 1946 edition without a mint mark has become a legend in its own right. Why is this coin so sought after? To answer that, we need to look closely at its background and composition. This penny, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carries no mint mark, which is precisely what sets it apart. Struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, it possesses that rich, classic color that collectors adore. Over time, this composition has given the coin a natural reddish-brown tone, a beauty only decades of careful preservation can create. But here's where the magic really lies: its condition. The specimen we're talking about today is in extra fine condition, which is incredibly rare for a coin that has been in circulation since the 1940s. Imagine it. Countless hands, pockets, and purses have touched this coin over decades, yet it has survived with sharp details, beautiful luster, and a level of preservation that makes it stand out like a diamond among stones. Collectors chase uniqueness, and the 1946 wheat penny delivers exactly that. Its sharp strike, clean surfaces, and eye-catching beauty make it one of the most desirable pieces of its year. While millions were minted, very few look like this one. That is why demand for this particular coin has skyrocketed, and every auction that features it turns into a battlefield of competitive bids. Now let's build the suspense to the heart of the matter: its value. The 1946 Lincoln wheat penny, no mint mark, in extra fine condition, has stunned the market with a current auction price of $191,000. Yes, this is not a misprint. This is not a rumor. This is today's truth. A coin that once passed through the hands of ordinary Americans buying newspapers, coffee, and groceries is now worth nearly $200,000. That's not just wealth, that's a treasure chest you can hold between your fingers. And here's the real shocker: its value is not slowing down. The rare coin market is alive, thriving, and exploding with growth. Every year, more collectors enter the field, and every year, the demand for pristine Lincoln wheat pennies grows stronger. This is not the peak, this is just the climb. The market value of this treasure is increasing day by day. Wait for time, and you will see it rise even higher. For those of you who dream of finding or owning one, here's my collector's tip: preservation is everything. If you ever discover a 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark, handle it with care. Keep it safe, avoid unnecessary cleaning, and always store it in protective holders. Remember, every small detail, every preserved feature can add thousands upon thousands of dollars to its value. So what's the conclusion? The 1946 Lincoln wheat penny is not just a coin. It is living proof that history rewards those who pay attention. It is a story sealed in copper, a story of America's resilience after war, and now, a fortune waiting to be unlocked. If you hold one, you're not just holding money, you're holding a legacy, a symbol, and a treasure that will only grow more powerful with time. And believe me when I say this, what you've just seen is only a glimpse into the hidden treasures of Lincoln wheat pennies. Because the next coin in our journey is about to raise the stakes even higher. Stay tuned, because the treasures we are about to uncover will keep you on the very edge of your seat. Next, coin number 3. Now, let's travel back to 1953 year when America was standing tall, shaping the future with optimism, strength, and growth. Dwight D. Eisenhower was leading the nation. Televisions were glowing in more homes than ever before, and the spirit of invention and prosperity was everywhere. And while families were building dreams and a gallon of gas cost barely a handful of cents, something extraordinary was quietly slipping into circulation coins that, decades later, would prove to be hidden fortunes. One such treasure is the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint. Now, you may think to yourself, it's just a penny, right? But here's where the story turns into something far bigger. This coin isn't just copper, it's a living artifact, a snapshot of 1950s America preserved in metal. Let's start with its foundation. The 1953 wheat penny was made with 95% copper and 5% zinc, a blend that gives it that warm, classic tone collectors cherish. Over the years, copper matures like fine wine, deepening in color and texture, and the very fine condition of this piece makes it even more remarkable. Despite being over 70 years old, this coin still carries a sharpness in its details, a beauty in its surface, and a glow that collectors crave. Now, the D Mint mark tells us it was born in the Denver Mint. And Denver coins often have a unique appeal. They weren't minted in the massive numbers we saw at Philadelphia, making them naturally scarcer and more attractive to serious collectors. Combine that with decades of survival in fine condition, and you suddenly have a piece that stands apart from the crowd. Rarity isn't always about how many were made, it's about how many survived, and in what shape. While millions of wheat pennies from the 1950s were spent, worn down, and lost to time, this one has survived with very fine details intact. That's what collectors are after: originality, sharpness, and uniqueness. Every tiny curve of Lincoln's profile, every wheat stalk on the reverse, all preserved beautifully after decades of circulation. That's why this coin isn't just considered rare, it's considered a hidden jewel of mid-20th century America. And now let's uncover what everyone has been waiting for: the market value. This 1953 with D Lincoln wheat penny, in very fine condition, has shocked the world of auctions with a staggering value of $178,000. Yes, a penny that once passed through the hands of ordinary people in Denver, maybe spent on candy or a newspaper, is now commanding nearly $200,000 at auction. That's not just money, that's wealth beyond imagination packed into a single copper cent. And let me remind you, this is no myth, no story made up to entertain. This is the truth of the current rare coin market. The value of coins like this is rising every day. Collectors know the power of scarcity, and once treasures like this disappear into private collections, they rarely return. Wait for time and you'll see this value climb higher and higher, like a rocket with no end in sight. For collectors watching this, my tip is simple yet crucial. Always keep your eyes open for Denver Mint wheat pennies. They often hide in plain sight, sitting in collections or change jars without anyone realizing the treasure they're holding. If you find one in very fine or better condition, protect it like the treasure it is. Keep it safe, store it properly, and never underestimate its future potential. So what's the takeaway here? The 1953 with D Lincoln wheat penny is not just another coin. It's a survivor, a treasure, and a promise of fortune. It shows us that history rewards patience and preservation, and that something so small can carry value that feels larger than life. To hold one is to hold a piece of American history, a coin that carries the legacy of the 1950s and the promise of a fortune that grows richer with every passing day. And remember, this is only the third coin on our journey. The treasures don't stop here. The deeper we go into this list, the more astonishing the discoveries become. Stay with me because what's coming next will take us even further into the world of hidden coins that can transform ordinary finds into legendary fortunes. Next coin, number 4. The year was 1956. America was booming. Families were moving into brand new suburban homes. Highways were expanding across the nation. Elvis Presley was shaking the airwaves, and optimism filled the air. It was a time when pennies jingled in every pocket. Vending machines accepted them, and kids used them to buy bubblegum and candy. But out of all those everyday coins, a few special pieces were struck in Denver that would one day rise above the rest, becoming treasures worth more than their weight in gold. One of those rare survivors is the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny with the D Mint mark, And trust me, this is not your ordinary cent. At first glance, it may look simple, just a copper penny carrying the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse. But the deeper you look, the more extraordinary this coin becomes. Let's begin with its foundation. The 1956 with D wheat penny was struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a blend that gave it that warm copper glow collectors love. Over decades, that surface has matured into a rich, vintage tone, and the extra fine condition of this specimen makes it something extraordinary. Most coins from this year have long since worn down from circulation, but this one still shines with sharp details and crisp definition. Lincoln's portrait is strong, the wheat stalks are intact, and every line carries the echo of the 1950s craftsmanship. The D Mint mark, stamped just below the date, tells us it was produced at the Denver Mint facility known for striking coins with smaller production runs compared to Philadelphia. And while millions of pennies were minted, it is survival in extra fine condition that makes this one so special. Think of it. After decades of use, this coin has defied the odds, holding on to its beauty and strength. That's why it's a collector's dream. Now, let's talk rarity. Rarity isn't just about how many were made, it's about how many have lasted, how many still exist in high-grade condition, and how many stand out with unique beauty. This 1956 with D penny checks all the boxes. Its exceptional state makes it a standout piece, one that collectors fight for in auctions because they know treasures like this don't appear every day. And now comes the heart-stopping part, the value. This 1956 with D Lincoln wheat penny, preserved in extra fine condition, has achieved an astonishing $171,000 in today's auction market. Yes, a coin that once passed from hand to hand in Denver, buying candy or a newspaper, is today worth a small fortune, more than enough to be considered a treasure chest in itself. And let me tell you something important. This is not a fluke. This is not hype. This is the truth of the rare coin market today. The demand is strong, the collectors are eager, and the values are climbing higher and higher. The market value of this coin is increasing day by day, and those who hold it are not just holding money. They're holding an investment, a legacy, and a piece of history that will only grow more powerful over time. For collectors out there, always keep an eye on Denver Mint wheat pennies. They may look ordinary at first glance, but condition is everything. If you find one in extra fine or better condition, protect it like it's gold. Store it safely, avoid unnecessary cleaning, and hold it for the long run. Because treasures like this are the kind that only come once in a lifetime. So what's the conclusion? The 1956 with D Lincoln wheat penny is not just copper, it's a symbol of American history, perseverance, and hidden wealth. It reminds us that treasures don't always sparkle like diamonds or shine like gold. Sometimes they're small, humble, and waiting quietly in the palm of your hand, ready to shock the world with their true value. And let me tell you, if you think this treasure was extraordinary, you haven't seen anything yet. Next coin, number 5. As we move deeper into our treasure hunt, the story of the Lincoln wheat penny keeps unfolding with more mystery, more excitement, and more value than anyone could ever imagine. And here, in the heart of the 1950s, we uncover yet another jewel. The 1957 with D Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that proves once again that treasures don't always come dressed in gold, they sometimes hide in plain copper. Let's step back in time. The year was 1957. America was racing toward the future. Rock and roll filled the airwaves, highways were stretching across the land, and the very first hints of space exploration were beginning to capture imaginations. Yet while history was being written in headlines, another kind of history was quietly being minted in Denver pennies that, decades later, would turn out to be priceless treasures. Now, what makes the 1957 with D so extraordinary? At first glance, it looks like a classic wheat penny. Abraham Lincoln's proud profile on the front, framed wheat stalks on the reverse. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Struck in the Denver Mint, it carries the signature D beneath the date, marking its origin. It was produced in 95% copper and 5% zinc, the trusted formula of its era. giving it the warm copper tone that collectors know and love. But here's the unique twist. This particular specimen has developed small natural black dots across its surface. Far from being flaws, these natural marks give the coin a distinct character, fingerprint of time that makes it one of a kind. Collectors crave individuality, and this coin delivers it in style. Instead of being just another 1957 penny, it becomes a standout piece, rare, beautiful, and unforgettable. Condition is everything in the coin world, and this penny sits proudly in fine condition. The details are clear, the surfaces are strong, and the originality remains intact. Remember, most coins from this period were spent, lost, and worn away. But this survivor still shines with its beauty, making it a serious contender in the world of rare coins. Now let's talk about rarity and demand. Millions of 1957 with D wheat pennies were minted, yes, but how many have survived like this? With natural toning, distinct character, and preserved condition, the answer is very few. That's why collectors chase it. That's why auction houses list it. And that's why it has become a centerpiece in the market of rare treasures. And here it is, the moment of truth. The 1957 with D Lincoln wheat penny, in fine condition with its unique black dot pattern, has reached a jaw-dropping market value of $168,000 in today's auction market. Let that sink in. A single penny, once worth only 1 cent, now commands 6 figures. That's not just a coin, that's a fortune in copper, a treasure chest disguised as spare change. And the value? It's climbing. Don't doubt it for a second. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies is hot, and every year more collectors are realizing the importance of condition, uniqueness, and history. This coin isn't at the top of its value, it's still climbing higher. The market value is increasing day by day, and for those lucky enough to own one, time is your greatest ally. Hold it, treasure it, and watch its worth grow like a hidden investment in your pocket. For collectors listening now, here's my tip. Always pay close attention to unique surface features. What some might dismiss as a blemish can actually be a mark of individuality that increases value. Coins with character stand out in auctions, and collectors will pay a premium for something that feels unique. So what's the conclusion? The 1957 with D wheat penny is not just another coin. It is a hidden masterpiece of American history, a survivor that carries both beauty and rarity. With its black dot pattern, its fine condition, and its Denver heritage, it is proof that treasure doesn't always sparkle, it sometimes carries the quiet, humble glow of copper. To own one is to own a slice of 1950s America, story pressed into metal, and a fortune that grows richer with every passing year. And let me assure you, the treasures don't stop here. We still have more wheat pennies to reveal, and each one tells a story even more thrilling than the last. Could very well be the treasure of a lifetime tomorrow. Next coin, number 6. When we talk about hidden treasures in the world of coins, few years carry as much weight and mystery as 1944. This was a year of hope and resilience. America was deep in the throes of World War II, industries were working day and night, and every family across the nation was contributing to the fight for freedom. And while history was being written on battlefields and in factories, something remarkable was quietly slipping into circulation, coins that would one day become priceless legacies. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those treasures. Street in Philadelphia, this penny might seem ordinary at first glance, but when you look closely, you'll see it's anything but. First, let's talk about its look. Unlike many other wheat pennies, this specimen carries a golden shade natural tone that has developed over the decades, giving it an almost regal glow. This isn't just copper, it's copper transformed by time, chemistry, and history into a coin that looks like it carries sunlight within its surface. That golden hue alone makes it stand out in any collection, demanding attention from even the most seasoned numismatists. Composition-wise, this coin was struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, a return to the traditional alloy after the steel cents of 1943. For context, in 1943, the mint had switched to zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort. But by 1944, with enough copper reclaimed from spent shell casings and war surplus, the wheat penny returned to its copper roots. That's what makes the 1944 issue so fascinating. It represents America's resilience, its recovery, and its determination to move forward. Now, let's consider condition and rarity. This particular coin has survived in fine condition, meaning its details remain clear, its beauty preserved, and its golden tone shining strong. While millions were minted, very few exist today with this level of preservation, combined with such unique coloration. That golden shade transforms it from a common coin into a standout treasure, making it highly desirable to collectors worldwide. And now, the part that always takes our breath away, the value. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, no mint mark, in fine condition with its golden glow, commands a jaw-dropping $194,000 in today's auction market. Yes, you heard that correctly. Nearly $200,000 for a single cent. What was once loose change in 1944 is now a fortune, a treasure chest in the palm of your hand. And remember this, the value isn't slowing down. The rare coin market is stronger than ever, and pieces like this are only growing in demand. The market value of this coin is increasing day by day. Wait for time, and you'll see this treasure climb even higher because history only grows more valuable and rarity only becomes rarer. This isn't just wealth, it's an investment in time itself. For collectors, here's my tip. If you ever come across a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark, pay close attention to its surface. Look for color, tone, and originality. Unique shades like this golden finish can transform a coin's desirability overnight. Preserve it carefully, because once coins like this enter private collections, they rarely ever return to the open market. So what's the conclusion? The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny isn't just a coin, it's a story of America in transition. From war to recovery, from steel to copper, it symbolizes a nation finding its strength again. And today, it is a rare, glowing, golden treasure that rewards those with the eye to see beyond the ordinary. To hold this coin is to hold not just money, but legacy, history, and a fortune waiting to grow. And as we near the end of our journey, the excitement only builds higher. Because the final coin in today's lineup may just be the most astonishing of them all. Stay with me because what's coming next will leave you absolutely speechless. Next coin, number 7. We arrive at the grand finale of today's journey through hidden riches, the 1957 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny. This is not just another coin on the list. This is the closing chapter of an extraordinary story, and it's one that proves beyond doubt that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest fortunes. The year was 1957. America was on the edge of a new era. Rock and roll was exploding. Highways were connecting cities like never before, and the space race was beginning to ignite imaginations. In Denver, while history unfolded across newspapers and televisions, the mint quietly struck millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, most destined for everyday life, most worn down, lost, or forgotten. But among them, one of those survivors is the coin we hold today. At its heart, the 1957 with D Wheat Penny was struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, the traditional blend of its time, producing that classic reddish-brown glow. But here's where the story turns magical. This particular specimen, though decades old, still carries a beautiful look and undeniable charm, standing proudly in very good condition. That means it has retained its essential details, its wheat stalks are still visible, and Lincoln's portrait remains strong enough to tell its story after all these years. The D mint mark, stamped beneath the date, ties it directly to the Denver Mint place known for striking coins in smaller quantities compared to the Philadelphia Mint. And while millions were minted, few survive today with the originality, character, and condition of this piece. That's why this coin stands apart. It's not about how many were made, it's about how few have lasted, and how rare they are to collectors who demand authenticity and preservation. But let's heighten the suspense, because here's the truth. It's not just rarity that drives collectors wild, it's demand. And the demand for wheat pennies in top condition has never been stronger. Each auction that lists one of these treasures becomes a battlefield of bids, as collectors push prices higher and higher, knowing exactly what's at stake. And here it comes, the heart-stopping revelation. The 1957, with D. Lincoln Wheat Penny, in very good condition with its fine, beautiful look, has stunned the auction world with a value of $188,000. Yes, nearly $200,000 for a coin that once slipped unnoticed through pockets, registers, and piggy banks. That's not just a penny, it's a fortune. It's a treasure chest in copper. It's proof that what many consider ordinary can transform into something extraordinary. And let me assure you, this is no exaggeration. This is the truth of today's rare coin market. The value of coins like this is increasing day by day, and for those lucky enough to hold one, the future only looks brighter. Wait for time and the treasure will grow even more valuable because the demand is unstoppable and the supply is forever limited. For collectors out there, here's my tip. Never dismiss a coin just because it looks ordinary. Check carefully, study the details, and preserve what you find. Condition, mint marks, and originality are everything. A coin that looks humble today could very well be your ticket to fortune tomorrow. So what's the conclusion of our journey? The 1957 with D wheat penny is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of discovery, patience, and treasure hidden in plain sight. It closes our lineup with a powerful reminder. Treasure doesn't always shine in gold or glitter in silver. Sometimes it hides quietly in copper, waiting for the right person to recognize its true worth. And there you have it. The 7 ultra-rare, most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies that continue to shake the auction world with their incredible worth. Each one carries history, beauty, and fortune, and together they prove that hidden treasures are out there, waiting to be discovered. Remember, this is Hidden U.S. Coins. This is the place where truth, history, and treasure meet. We bring you faithful, fresh, and daily updates on the rare coin market, so you never miss out on the next great discovery. Subscribe now, stay connected, and keep your eyes open because the next great treasure could be closer than you think.